Hey everybody, my name is Paul Esden Jr., aka Boy Green. I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com, and welcome to the Jet Zone. This is a weekly New York Jets podcast that streams live on 3 different locations: the Jet Zone Facebook page, the Jet Zone underscore zone on Twitter, and of course on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/boygreen25. Also, the audio of this podcast is later uploaded to Sports War Radio, my podcast company, where you can listen to this podcast wherever you listen to your podcast, anywhere on the planet. Thanks for joining us, everybody. And no matter where you're watching, like I said, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, make sure you show some love for the channel. Hit like on the video, smash subscribe, and also feel free to jump in the comments section. We want your questions, topics, interactions, and everything else, quite frankly. You can share that in the comments here, and we will bring you up on the show. What a fantastic show we have for you guys this week. Also, a tease, I just recorded my Breece Hall interview. That will be dropping tomorrow morning on, you can check out the YouTube playlist. It's called Meet the Fleet, and I will be speaking with, and have been speaking with, college football insiders all across America on all of the new Jets draft picks, and we'll do a couple on their undrafted free agents as well that end up making the roster. There's a couple of Jets rookie minicamp tryouts. We'll talk about that here in just a second, but our Meet the Fleet series continues tomorrow morning. That will drop at 7 a.m. We did an interview with Cyclone Fanatic to learn more about Breece Hall, Offensive Rookie of the Year chat, the Jets drafting a running back, the highest running back drafted in over 32 years by the New York Jets, and so much fun stuff. It's been a super fun series. If you guys have not checked that out, go ahead. Garrett Wilson interview's up. The Jeremy Ruckert interview is up. Like I said, Breece Hall was recorded, but I didn't want to kind of overload you with video, so that one drops tomorrow. And we have interviews set for all the rest of the Jets draft picks as well. So hopefully you guys can stop on by. Let me dive into the comments here right off the top. We got Eddie De Jesus. What up? Hey, what's poppin', baby? Love it. NY Jets Mets Nick Survivor. What's up, Boy Green? And Ed Vargas showing some support. Thank you so much for the super chat, which is a healthy reminder. If you guys are watching live here on YouTube, and also, if you're watching on Facebook or Twitter, just open up an extra tab to hop over to YouTube to show your support for the channel. You can do just like this with Ed Vargas, where you throw out a super chat and support the channel. You can make sure you can ask a question and cut the line of all the questions that will be coming in here throughout the show. Do whatever you like. Ed Vargas, you're the best in the damn business. Thank you for supporting the channel. This has been a lot of fun. I just got to say in general, actually just keep it up there for now, is I just have to say in general, quite frankly, is that the overwhelming support from you crazy fans out there over the last 2+ years, and really the YouTube channel has just been recently cranking up over the last year and a half or so. The support has been absolutely incredible, and we're coming off our first live stream ever over the draft, so hopefully you guys stop by to enjoy all of that. That is so cool, man. And it was awesome. It was awesome for you guys to see my reactions and interact with one another. So cool. And I love doing this. And we're only going higher. We just recently surpassed 1.5K subscribers. So tell a friend, share the love, and make sure you guys do that because we had a lot of fun. We're going to dive into a lot of stuff here on the show. We got a lot of Jets draft nuggets. I'm doing a lot of videos out my Twitter, again, at BoyGreen25 on Twitter, or videos of what people are saying in the internet world. We'll catch up on that in a second and kind of go through a bunch of those. But I'll get through a bunch of these comments that are coming up here. Actually, before we do that, I do want to give the Jets offseason calendar. I tweeted this out yesterday when it first dropped, so let me just pull this back up on Twitter real quick so I can give you guys the full announcement. So here it is. By the way, Jets rookie minicamp is going to get started this Friday, May 6th. It will run through Sunday. Every NFL team is allowed to host a rookie minicamp, and that either the first weekend after the draft or the second weekend after the draft. The Jets are doing it the first available weekend. Again, it will go from May 6th through Sunday, May 8th. Here's the rest of the offseason calendar that's coming up for the New York Jets. These are the important dates to watch out for. This is the OTA offseason workout schedule, May 23rd, May 24th, May 26th, May 31st through June 1st, June 3rd, and June 7th through the 10th. Additionally, on top of all those OTA dates, there will also be a mandatory minicamp that will run from June 14th through the 16th. And what all that funky stuff means, everybody that's jumping on the show, is Jet fans will get their first opportunity to see a bunch of these rookies. The veterans and everybody are working out with the Jets right now. I released the Tyler Conklin video, and boy, he's looking juicy. Okay, the flowing brown locks, the footwork, the ba-da-da-da-da, and then the hands. I think Tyler Conklin, just a random side note here, is one of the most underrated Jets free agent signings this year because the Jets got Uzama, who I love, by the way, a tight end, CJ Uzama from the Bengals. I think he's going to be a freak. I think he's going to be a beast. But then, like, it's almost like when Conklin got signed, it like somehow went under the radar because, oh, we already got a tight end. He's just another tight end. But they paid $21 million, won a mini bidding war. A lot of people wanted Conklin, aka Conk. A lot of people wanted him, and he still chose the Jets. So they've got a lot of tight ends. I just have to say, one of the proudest moments, and I think we talked about this in the post-draft video on Sunday that we dropped, or Saturday night, either way, that the Jets going from Ryan Griffin and Tyler Kroft and all these crappy tight ends to like this first world problem top 5 tight end situation with CJ Uzama, Tyler Conklin, now Jeremy Ruckert. What a tight end room. I mean, this is fantastic. I would be happy with any one of these individual guys, let alone the entire group. So, zoo wee mama. I love the tight end group. But that is your Jets offseason schedule, which again, we'll get some fresh rookie material. Perhaps them finally choosing their jersey numbers. One of the controversies is DJ Reed Jr. has the number 1 jersey. He's wearing it in practice right now. Those jersey numbers are not official. They will be official here very shortly, but it's not official yet. So he wants it. Amon Sauce Gardner wants it. Breece Hall wants it. It's a new world out there with all these kiddos, right? There's no longer the locked jersey numbers per position. Now you can really do whatever you want from a jersey number perspective. All right, let's go through a couple of these comments here. James D. Pietro. Did you see that what Zach looks like now? He built himself up and doesn't look like a kid anymore. Go Jets, 100%. I think Will Pa, a.k.a. Will Parkinson of Turn on the Jets, who's also on some of the SNY Jets TV post-draft coverage, so shout out to him. He's the one who tweeted out the picture from last year to this year. I think it's Will Pa 11 is his Twitter handle, so go check it out. Yes, Zach Wilson looks yoked. He looks swole, as the kids say. He's looking juiced and maxed up. And again, while this is the time, and I want to reiterate this, that we should all be excited. We should all be over the top. This is the time to be excited about what things are going on. This is the off season. This is where everyone should dream the magical dream. That's how I always look at it anyway. And the things to be positive about. Cool, the Zach Wilson concert tour was awesome, where he went to Nashville, then Miami, then Arizona. He's working out with all those guys. Now he's at the Jets team facilities working out. I just love that he's getting all this extra work in. To me, that's amazing. That's brilliant. That's great. And then obviously he's putting in the work. He is reshaping his body. One of the criticisms of Zach Wilson coming out of college was the slender shoulders, the slender frame. And if he didn't put on the proper weight, perhaps that could get him into some trouble. So I love the fact that he is getting yoked up. I love it, James. So I have seen it, and he's looking good, looking fit. Let's keep it going, baby. I love it. NY Jets, Mets, Knicks Survivor. How you feel we did in the draft? Would you have done anything different? Great question. And, I love to play GM. I love to, kind of, be the boss, okay, and make all these decisions. By the way, the Support the Troops gear, hope you like that. I try to mix it up for all these shows, but Support the Troops. My father spent Random Nuggets, spent 20. I'm like a raccoon with the shiny object. I've noticed during these live streams. Like, I'm just like, ooh, wow, ooh, yeah. I'm jumping all over the place. It's like William Shatner, like, ooh, where am I coming from afar? Like, there's a lot of that going on. So, again, I apologize, but hopefully you guys just enjoy the experience. But my dad spent 20 years in the Navy. My entire family is military. And a fun fact story, some of you may not know, you see all the beard and the craziness and all this. There was a chance that this never happened. I recently just kind of talked about it. I was in Summerville, South Carolina, going to high school. And I was taking JRTC my freshman year at Stratford High School. And I became a sergeant very quickly, Sergeant Esden, for those counting at home. And it looked like my path was clear. My dad was in the Navy for 20 years. Looked like I was going into the Army. And then he retired for 5 seconds from the Navy. And then he went into a new career doing stuff in nuclear power. And so we had to move. So we left my little homestake in Summerville, South Carolina, back in the A.J. Green days, by the way. So for those Summerville, South Carolina people. But then we moved from there to Syracuse-ish, New York. It's technically Oswego, New York, but the Syracuse area, which is what the city more people know, in 2008, and there's no JROTC up here. So my career path, if I was going into the military, to coming up here, and then I started getting into sports talk radio and all that, true story, I would not be here right now. I'd be overseas somewhere. That is funny how life works. So I have a great respect for the military. The military blood runs through my veins. So wanted to support the troops gear. Jets love, just a random kind of story that, again, I was this close to being overseas somewhere. And this podcast would not be happening right now. All this stuff would not be happening right now. If I would have stayed in South Carolina, I would be a military man. And I'm sure I wouldn't have the crazy beard. That's not allowed there. In the military. So who knows what everything coulda, shoulda, woulda been. Anywho, let's get back to the question here. How do we feel? How do I feel we did in the draft? To me, exceptional. And like I said, the praise is being poured in left and right for the New York Jets, and rightfully so. I did kind of a nice, touchy-feely kind of article about the Jets hitting a home run in the NFL draft, and I went through a bunch of the things that people said. So I'll pull a couple of them up here. Daniel Jeremiah joined the Rich Eisen show earlier this week, and he said the Jets had the quote-unquote best draft of any team in the NFL. He said they needed difference makers, guys. You could quantify what they mean to the team. You're going to be able to watch Jet games next year. You're going to see touchdowns, sacks, interceptions, and big-time runs. So there's Daniel Jeremiah on that. Dane Brugler ranked his favorite draft classes from number 1 to number 32, and the Jets earned the top billing. This is from Dane saying, quote, the Jets made 7 picks in this year's draft, and I think they nailed every one of them. And then, of course, ESPN Greeny, a.k.a. Mike Greenberg, who is a polarizing figure among Jets fans. I understand that. But he said that the Jets had the best draft in, quote, the history of the event, according to the analytics. There's Mike Greenberg on the Scouts LLC, which basically they had no single NFL team has ever had 3 players with a 92-plus grade in the same class. The Jets did that, obviously, with Jermaine Johnson, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, and Garrett Wilson. And PFF Tailgate Crew gave the Jets an A-. Dan Orlovsky said this was a quote-unquote franchise-changing draft for the New York Jets. I had Ari Meroff, if you guys, NFL insider from Pro Football Focus, he joined us earlier this week on the stream and said the Jets hit a home run in the draft. So all that fun stuff from all over the place. But I'll tell you this, in my opinion, I think they nailed the draft. And it's funny, NY Jets, Mets, Knicks, Survivor. I will tell you, they wouldn't have done what I would have done. For instance, I didn't think Sauce Gardner was the thing at 4. I love the player, just didn't think that's what the Jets sought at the cornerback position. 10, wide receiver. I wouldn't have taken Garrett Wilson, candidly. There was other receivers I wanted, and part of that, I think, was Garrett Wilson I always thought was going to be off the board. Jermaine Johnson, again, not the pass rusher I wanted. I wanted Kayvon Thibodeau. And Breece Hall, that's not a pick I even considered for the Jets, quite frankly, in the top of the second round. So really, they did nothing of what I would have thought they would have done. But to be honest with you, I am fully satisfied with the draft. You got a shutdown corner, phenomenal. You got your pass rusher. That was a big one for me, just getting a pass rusher kind of in the general sense. You get your wide receiver. Zach Wilson needed a wide receiver one. I believe Garrett Wilson has the capability to do that. And hell, Elijah Moore, quite frankly, has the capability to be a wide receiver one. Go to defense, Jermaine Johnson, phenomenal. Jeremy Ruckert, again, I just explained the sweet praises of the evolution of the tight end position for the Jets. Love that. That, to me, is absolutely fantastic. Keep adding bodies. Keep pounding bodies, man. So I love that at tight end. That to me, is terrific. You go to the day 3 picks. We get Max Mitchell, swing tackle. I love that. Versatility as well. He could play tackle and guard, and was even, getting some center reps. I'm not sure if that's where his future is in the NFL, but nonetheless, getting some of that. And then Michael Clemens, who, again, was the only real head scratcher of the group. But to me, I wanted to double dip a pass rusher anyway. So if this is how you do it, that's fine with me. Super talented guy. And like I said, I kind of like the dart throw. I know there's some off the field concerns, but we actually had some great YouTube comments after that video posted last week saying, hey, man, some of the gun charges and this or that laws are different in Texas and all those kind of things. So, well, hey, more power to us. We're just painting the picture here. So to be honest, the only thing I would have done different, and I don't even know if it would have been possible with the combination of things, is I wanted KT, but if you take KT, there's no Sauce. And really the other thing that came out this week, let's talk about that real quick, is Rich Cimini on the Flight Deck podcast okay, for ESPN, he revealed that the Jets and Seahawks at 10-9 had a deal done, okay, to swap first round picks. Here's the whole background on it. The Jets wanted to move up from 10-9 to secure Garrett Wilson. When Drake London went at 8, they had heard, the Jets in the draft room, that the Philadelphia Eagles were coming up for a wide receiver. Little did they know they were trying to get A.J. Brown. But in the room at the time, when panic and pressure and everything's going on, the Jets are like, oh my gosh, the Eagles are going to jump to 9. They're going to do a little cock block action. We're not going to get our wide receiver, that we're going to be screwed. And it's interestingly enough that so the Jets and Seahawks had a deal. But ultimately, what had happened was the Jets said, you know what, we don't think the Eagles are really going to trade up. We're just going to stay at 10 and figure it out. Seahawks on the other side said, well, we don't want to lose Charles Cross, which was the offensive tackle out of Mississippi State. So it was kind of a dual thing. But they had a deal done, according to Rich Cimini. Handshake, that deal was signed, sealed, and delivered. It was about to be sent into the league. And then, whoa. Wait a second. You know what? No. Seahawks get cold feet. They're like, no, we don't want to lose our guy. Because if you remember, earlier this offseason, the Jets did a ton of homework on Charles Cross. So much so that at the Mississippi State Pro Day, Charles Cross said, one of the teams that did the most work on me is insert the gosh darn New York Jets. So I'm sure Seattle would have said, oh, we don't want to move just in case they take our guy. For those who don't know, okay, when a trade is consummated, and guys, I highly recommend that you check out my Mike Tannenbaum interview from earlier this offseason. One of the cool things I got into with Mike T was about the art of the trade. And when you're trading, and the Jets are trading with the Seahawks in this magical example, which had a deal done, the Jets aren't telling Seattle who they're moving up for. Seattle's not telling the Jets who they're interested in. So it's this weird game of chicken. So they're trying to figure each other out, but without just revealing the deck of cards, so to speak. So it was interesting, and there was this close to happening. And imagine all of the what ifs, could, buts, nuts, and chuts, and all that stuff, right? If the Jets would have done this or that, they would have moved up to 9, they would have lost a pick. If they would have tried to move up for Jermaine Johnson with both of their second rounders, they would have gotten to 15, but then they would have never got Brees Hall. So blah, 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 blah. It's a million. Once you take a log out of the thing, the whole thing collapses and something completely new happens. But I'll tell you this, long story short, I spent a lot of time on this. I feel like the Jets nailed the draft. I love it. You got playmakers at every level. Absolutely thrilled. And ultimately, the things that I wanted to do, like KT and like Jamison Williams, like we're arguing over, apples to oranges. Like I wanted a pass rusher, they got a pass rusher anyway. I wanted a wide receiver, they got a wide receiver anyway. I like Sauce, but I didn't know if it was possible for them to get him or whether the Jets would be interested, and then they were. So to me, long story short, and I know there was a very long answer, no, yeah, sure. Are there things I would have done differently? Of course there was. But you know what? I'm cool with what the Jets were able to do. So you know what? It means the world. So to me, I am perfectly thrilled and over the top of what the Jets were able to do in this draft. Ed Vargas, hey, Paul, I've been a Jet fan for 52 years. You're my favorite. Thanks, my friend. And Ed, you're one of my most loyal supporters on this channel. So thank you so much. And I see everyone pouring in here again. For other people that are here, you could do exactly what Ed did a little earlier. He did a YouTube super chat. It's available to you guys on YouTube. You'll see it in the chat that you're allowed to do. You can either send an emoji, you could send a question and cut the line, support the channel with a nice monetary tip, and you'll cut the line and do all that fun stuff. Ed, you've been doing it for a long time. So thank you so much, everybody, for all the support. It's been crazy. You guys are the best. The big Lebrowski. I feel like we were putting a lot of pressure on Zach after the draft. The team still isn't good in a really good division. The big Lebrowski, what of course he's referencing is Chris Collinsworth on the Chris Collinsworth podcast. Nice name. He essentially said if any quarterback of the second-year group is going to make a leap, Zach Wilson is that guy. You can check out the full video. It's on my Twitter account, @BoyGreen25. To be honest with you, the big Lebrowski, love the name, by the way, I don't think we are putting too much pressure on Zach Wilson. I mean, there's enough pressure as is. He's in the New York market. He's a quarterback. The Jets, his play was erratic, to say the least, last season. Now, it ended on a positive note. I really like how he ended the season. But again, there was a level of erratic play. He was the number 2 pick in the draft. The Jets, the NFL, the quarterback-driven league, and all that stuff. Pressure is just there. And in terms of, too much pressure around him, to be honest, the team they built around them, Zach Wilson should be very good. And I like how I'm going to forget because I've done so many interviews, conversations, and consuming of Jets stuff that's out there. I'm going to forget who said this, but there's so many easy completions for Zach Wilson. He's got 3 capable tight ends. He's got 4 capable receivers. He's now got a pair of talented running backs. He's got a solid offensive line in front of him. And again, I'm going to quote the Spider-Man movie that Aunt May turns to old Peter Parker and says, "You're not Superman, you know." Again, Zach Wilson doesn't have to be Superman. Just run the offense, man. Do exactly what you did at the back end of last year, but just a little bit more juice, a little bit more mustard on that sandwich. That's all we're looking for, okay? Last year, I thought he did great making sure that he held on to the football, okay? That's what he did great last year. Now, the critics will say, which I can't remember what interview I just recently did where they were just kind of it was Kevin Marr. He joined me on my radio show. He said, well, Zach Wilson only threw 12 passes against the Jaguars or whatever happened. So the people that criticize the back end of that stretch for Zach Wilson will say, well, he didn't take many chances. So he didn't do many of this, didn't do many of that. Well, okay, fine. Well, I will say this. I like that he took care of the football, number one. Number two, hey, just soup it up a little bit more. When you have opportunities, and here's what's going to happen, okay? With the reinforced offensive line, with the Breece Hall, Michael Carter combination in the backfield, the Jets will be able to ground and pound, run the football a little bit more. And when you run the football successfully, as the Jets hope and believe they can do in that offensive philosophy, then defenders are going to have to start creeping up into the box. They're going to have to start loading it to stop the run. And when they do that, that's when Zach Wilson locks the laser launcher attached to his shoulder, and he starts taking some play action shots down the field. Get the vertical element going in this offense. Garrett Wilson, Corey Davis, okay, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, and God knows what other weapon they could potentially add this offseason with trades and late stage free agency and what have you. That to me is the thing. So, and I will push back on the team. It still isn't good in a really good division. The division's good. I mean, great even. I mean, Josh Allen, the Bills are the clear-cut favorite. They're phenomenal. The pressure's on them to repeat and do all that stuff. Let's look at the rest of the division real quick. Miami, while they've added a lot of new sexy toys, and the Ferrari looks nice, when I lift the hood, there's nothing in there. I don't believe in Tua. I think he's got a noodle arm. So, again, it's like a really nice car. It's got all the bells and whistles, brand new wheels. Ooh, wow. It's got a little extra. It's got hydraulics, okay? It's got Tyreek Hill, this shiny object and paint job on it. It's real nice like. But then you look under the hood, what the hell? There's nothing in here. It's like one of those used car salesmen said, hey, let me sell you this car. And then you're like, wow, this looks great. Let me just take a peek under it. Wait, there's nothing under here. So that's it for me, for Miami. I'm like, I don't know. I don't see it. So to me, Miami, I think they've got more talent overall in the roster. Tyreek Hill, Xavier Howard back there, and a couple other, and the defense really good. Like, I think they're more talented than the Jets. But if you don't have a quarterback, it doesn't matter. So Miami, New England has clearly regressed this offseason. What have they done? Outside of getting Cole Strange, a 4th rounder in the 1st round. That's still hilarious, okay? I don't know what the hell they're doing over there. And I think the most important part's, okay, their offseason has been LOL. Okay, so put that on one side. The other thing is they lost Josh McDaniels. They've lost the continuity of the offense. They don't even have an offensive coordinator. You want to know who's the 2 idiots? How many idiots does it take to screw in a light bulb? They got Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, who have neither been an offensive coordinator. They're kind of hemming and hawing the offensive coordinator position. I mean, what the hell? So to me, to be honest with you, New England is vulnerable. Miami is vulnerable. I think there is a path. Now, worst to first, I heard Chris Collinsworth kind of talk about this on his podcast as a possibility. Again, you would need some level of regression from Buffalo, and the Jets would have to be spectacular, which, of course, anything is possible. But to me, I think there is legit path here. While the schedule is interesting, and we'll break down that schedule next week, while that's all interesting, you have to worry about you. And to me, while the division is good, really good, I don't think the Jets still isn't good. Like, the team still isn't good. I don't buy that, the Big Lebowski. So we're going to have to aggressively push back or agree to disagree. To be honest with you, I think this roster is really good. If we evaluate the entire roster, wide receiver, great. Tight end, great. Running back, great. Offensive line, great. Quarterback, again, that's the unknown. We'll figure out what ends up happening there. Defensive line, phenomenal. Corners, great. DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner, it's a great 1-2 punch. Safety, again, there's a hole at safety I'm kind of questionable on. And the third linebacker, which is somewhat mitigated by a 4-3 scheme and the way we're using nickel in today's NFL. So some of that is somewhat mitigated. But to be honest with you, I think the roster is really good. I think there's a lot of talent here. Now, they're going to have to prove it, show some chutzpah, as we like to say on this show. But I'm going to have to push back on that second point. I don't think we can put too much pressure on Zach. Again, while the season ultimately lives and dies by Zach Wilson and this coaching staff, for that matter, I don't think we are putting too much pressure on him, to be frank, the big Lebrowski. Stephen Angle, what's up, brother? What's up, peeps? What's poppin', Stephen? Welcome to the show. I love having you guys here. Let's see. Let's go to Hyder Ali. What's up, brother? Hope you and the family are well. Baby blessed. Love your energy and passion. Jets fan since 1975. This is the most optimistic I've been in a long time. Everything in place. Hyder, I thank you, by the way, for the kind words. My beautiful fiance and the baby are in the other room when I do this podcast every Wednesday. She is the greatest of all time. The fact that she's able to hold down the fort while I'm doing sports talk radio. I did that this morning when I'm doing my interviews for my Meet the Fleet series. She's taking care of the baby. I'm at radio station, taking care of the baby. Me doing this podcast, taking care of the baby. She's taking care of me too. I'm the other baby that she's taking care of all the goddamn time. So she is the best fiance of all time. Fiance Hall of Fame? Booyah. She's in there. So she's great. And the baby's doing phenomenal. The baby, just random baby notes. I know this is a Jets podcast, but I got to give you guys a little bit of the personal. The baby was trying to crawl, this week for the first time. So, I'm this big, tough, bearded, tattooed guy, right? I got the tattoos everywhere. I'm a big, bearded, tough guy. But I got to be honest, I got a little... had to clear the throat a little bit. No, I'm the big man, macho man. But got to tell you that seeing the baby trying to crawl and go... across the thing. Oh boy, I lost it. That's that was cool. So again, blessed beyond all belief that I get paid to cover the New York Jets. I have a baby, got a beautiful fiance, I got a wonderful life. So it is phenomenal. And thank you. The energy and passion, by the way, this is cool. I will say, we've been doing a lot of interviews, probably the most interviews we've ever done on this YouTube series in the history of ever. So you're seeing guys like Ari Meroff, Connor Hughes, Damian Woody, Leger Douzable. Again, all the names are crazy. Flex on them. You see all these wonderful guests. Come on, baby. You know what I bring to the table, obviously. But I mean, to be honest, the coolest thing in the world is when I just bring my real energy. That's who I am. That's just who I am, and I love just being me. It's easy to be you, okay? When you're trying to fake it, you're like, okay, now I need to pretend to be Boy Green now. No, like, this is just who I am. So I love that the fans have been so receptive to it. I know I'm a little different. I've gotten a lot of comments. Your Shock Jock Radio, we hate you. I get it. I am a love-hate kind of guy. There's no liking Paul. There's either love me or hate me, and I'm fully cool with that. That's, what I get that I am somewhat polarizing from that standpoint. But I got to say that when we brought on all these guests, and the first thing out of their mouth is, wow, Paul, the energy is so cool. It just picks up the room. That's what I try to do. You'll see it on the Breece Hall interview tomorrow, another interview that's dropping. I just try to bring a lot of energy, and I hope that's infectious to the room and kind of, lets people out of their shells that may be quieter or what have you. It's just really cool. So, Hyder, by the way, thank you so much for the kind comments. And you know what? You should be optimistic. Naturally, I'm an optimistic kind of guy. I always see the glass half full. I feel like that's a great way to be in life. But to be honest with you, I'm so ready for the season. And the other thing, which is funny, and I'm glad that you brought this up, Hyder, because it's going to make me think about it. The last couple of years, right? So you have the Adam Gase. And again, sorry to bring that up. You have Robert Saleh year one. When is the last time we were talking legitimate football? So I've been doing these Jets post-game shows and weekly conversations. One of the other bits I do during the season is called Behind Enemy Lines, where if the Jets are playing the Dolphins week one, I don't know if that's really happening. I'm all for that, by the way. I want to beat Tyreek Hill over the side of the head with a club and beat the Dolphins up. So I'd love to do that. So not a bad week one if we do that. But, when's the last time we've come on this show and talk football? X's and O's. Wow, this play changed the game. That play changed the game. Shoot, I don't know. 3 years? 4 years? 5 years? I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been doing the YouTube show long enough for that, but I've been doing my Jets podcast, this podcast, for a decade. I can't remember the last time we came on here and just broke down the game. Like, wow, this, that. It's been somewhat inconsequential. When we're doing these kind of shows, we're not talking about football. Football. That's what this is. That's the sport we're talking about. We're not talking about the draft in 2042. Oh man, trade off this piece, trade off that piece. Where's the football? Where's the top 5 power rankings? Oh snap, the Jets are in it. They started the season 2-0. Oh baby, they could do something this year. Where was that level of juice? And I'm going to be honest, Hyder, I can't friggin' remember the last time we did that, to be honest with you, to be blunt. So that's one of the big things I'm looking forward to this season, that I'm hoping that the Jets will just be able to just do something early, that all of a sudden we buy in. We're hooked in. Like, again, let's just say, again, I have no idea who they're playing week 1. I'm terrible on the schedule guessing. I've tried to participate in the Jets contest a couple years. I've totally blown it, so I have no idea. I think we're getting some primetime games this year, which I can't wait for. Hey, can we get Sunday Night Football? Speaking of Chris Collinsworth anyway, earlier, that's my favorite, like, just broadcast. Sunday Night Football, man. I think, of course, the stage of Sunday Night Football is super cool. The juice, the broadcast, the production value, the Mark Sanchez, USC, because that's the last time the Jets were on Sunday Night Football, by the way. That's how I remember that, is that when they do the quick little player intros, it's, Mark Sanchez, USC, Sean Green, Iowa, like, and you go through all those guys and I'm like, whoa, like, man, that's so cool. So I hope we get Sunday Night Football, by the way. But I'm just looking forward to talking to football again. I can't remember the last time we talked football and broke down, like, this play in the third quarter was the reason we won. Wow, this is this, and then it mattering. So that's something I'm looking forward to, Hyder. Another long answer here. But again, wherever you guys are watching, I'm seeing the comments pour in. Super chat it up on YouTube. Show your support. Excuse me. And also throw in your questions or comments for the show. Stephen Engel, Clemens is a dog. He seems that way. I just listened to his interview he did with the media. Man, he's like and this is going to sound insulting. I don't mean it in this way, but it's very caveman, very primal. Like, Clemens doesn't give you a lot of color during at least in the interviews I've been seeing for Michael Clemens, a Texas A&M pass rusher. It's very, like I said, primal. He's just I don't know how to describe it. He's a man of few words. Like, hey, Michael. Like, I even heard the Jets draft phone call on YouTube. Like, hey, Michael, how does it feel to be a Jet? It feels good. Okay, Michael, wow, you must be jazzed up to hear the room. Yes, I am excited for the room. Jets, good team. I was just like, okay, this guy's all business. He's not going to do the same boy green stuff. Wow, this is the greatest day of my life. Like, and that's cool. You don't have to be anything you're not, but he just seems like, and Joe Douglas described him as nasty, a badass. That's just going to, they're going to have that kind of energy in the locker room, which I love. So, yeah, baby, I am all for it. John Hepburn, hey, fellers. Welcome to the show, baby. Appreciate you. Let's see. James D. Pietro, Jets X Factor. Michael Nania's article shows the value of picks between JD and McCagnon. JD over 5K points, McCagnon 1,800 points for non-QB players. 3 drafts versus 5 extend. JD 20 more years, 100%. The value he's been able to get, the level of aggression selectively in this draft. They traded up multiple times. They traded up for Jermaine Johnson. They traded up for Breece Hall. I love it. And again, you're just hitting. And obviously you had an amount of picks. Obviously that helped. So kind of the narrative with a lot of the picks for the New York Jets is that they had a lot of picks, so they should have good drafts, but they're having good drafts and putting them at the primary positions. It's not just interior defensive line anymore or some of that action. All right, let me skip down here. We got another super chat in the room. NY2, let's bring him in. NY2FLA Jets fan with the 1999. Oh, my. Oh, yes. Super chat it up, baby. I love it. And again, guys, you could super chat right now. Make sure you jump to the front of the line. And this kind of stuff supports the channel, allows me to invest more time, get cool interviews, to do all this fun stuff with you guys. So love it. Let's get to the question. This team is about to be good, and there are still more that can be done. This team has talent for Zach to succeed. He's still 22. We have a Super Bowl MVP, and what White can do. The talent here should succeed, but I know Zach is the one. I will say this. In terms of what else they can do, I did want to address that part of the conversation. A couple of things the Jets ignored in the draft. And by the way, NY2FLA Jets fan, thank you so much for the support. This is incredible when people decide to, reach into their own pocket if they can afford it to support the channel, man. This means the world to me. So I appreciate that. And kind of getting into it here, there's a couple of positions the Jets ignored. Okay, safety is one of them. That seemed to be a spot either at 101, where the Jets had the later third round pick from the AJ Brown trade that they were involved from the Titans. So they had 101 went Jeremy Rucker, which by the way I was cool with. But safety was a position, linebacker was a position, interior defensive line was another position potentially for them to go in. So some things to look out for. Safety market, it'll be interesting what Saleh decides to do there, because again, you have both the linebacker safety tandem stuff, the dual stuff he and likes to kind of do from that standpoint. So maybe there's a safety out there. Jaquiski Tart, the former San Francisco 49er, is out there. So there's this scheme familiarity potentially. Linebacker, you have two guys to watch: Quan Alexander, who the Jets worked out, and the guy they worked out last year, Reuben Foster. Off the field concerns, again, you have to be cool with that if you're the Jets, but that's another one. So you have, again, Reuben Foster, watch out for, Quan Alexander, Jaquiski Tart on the back end of the defense potentially, and then like an interior defensive line, Hog Molly. Rich Cimini brought up Fletcher Cox if he's available, and Fletcher Cox, by the way, got straight up cut by the Eagles earlier this offseason. He was able to come back to the Eagles on a one-year deal, but here's the interesting part, and kind of what Joe Douglas mentioned in his post-draft presser, is that he's got a team. His pro personnel department kind of scans the entire depth chart for every NFL team in the league, and they try to identify players that either have a high guaranteed number or they have some wiggle room depending on new guys they bring into the table. For instance, Eagles moved up to select Jordan Davis, who plays the same position as old Fletcher Cox there. So potentially Jets Eagles have some great relationships between the two. Maybe what you could do is go after like a Fletcher Cox. That could make a ton of sense if you're the Jets, whether that's trading a mid-rounder, potentially bring him in. And not only is he a pass rushing superstar, okay, in his decade in the league, 58 sacks, but his PFF run grade potential is through the roof. Now, this past year, he was very questionable, had the lowest grade of like perhaps his entire career in run defense. But before that point, there's a nice 8-9 year sample size of Fletcher Cox being absolutely elite against the run. So that's a little bit of a concern coming out of the draft, is you don't have that same level of run defense from the Jets, and you didn't improve the linebacker position. You improved the pass rushers, and Jermaine's supposed to be really good against the run, but he's going to be a situational player. So again, that's the part where maybe you could get some wiggle. So Fletcher Cox, potentially, if you want to go in that direction. I had one fan reach out to me and say, hey, let's get Snacks Harrison out of retirement. Hey, okay. If Snacks is on the table, let's get some Snacks. So that would be there as well. So a couple of things to watch out for is, again, so safety, could use some juice there. Linebacker, gave you a couple names to watch out for. Fletcher Cox was a name brought up. And one more I want to bring up is the Jets, and I'll have this article out later today for Heavy.com. Again, I'm the New York Jets digital reporter for Heavy.com. And one of the articles I'll get out later is the Jets, quote unquote, in the hunt for Morgan Moses. Remember last year at the end of May, Washington drafts a young guy, cuts Morgan Moses, and he's out there in free agency kind of hanging around, and the Jets get lucky and they end up getting Morgan Moses. Well, they don't have a Morgan Moses on this team, so they're looking for another Morgan Moses. Couple of veteran tackles out there, maybe like an Eric Fisher is a guy that's out there. I'll pull up the latest NFL big board, best NFL free agents remaining here for a variety of positions, but that's what I would be looking for, is the veteran offensive tackle market. Those are the guys that I would certainly be looking at. I was reading it earlier, so like I said, Eric Fisher would be on that list for me. Let me see, who are the other offensive tackles out there that would wet the whistle for? Dwayne Brown is another one. He's older, but he's another guy you could potentially bring in. It seems like things did not go perfectly there for the Seahawks. So Dwayne Brown, Eric Fisher, something of that realm would make a lot of sense, because again, while Max Mitchell is kind of your swing option all across the board, you do want a veteran that could step up, because again, imagine if the Jets never got Morgan Moses and Mekhi Becton crumples down in a heap and George Fant goes to left tackle, and that ended up working fine, but who the hell's playing right tackle? Connor McDermott? Chuma Edoga? Can't be doing that kind of crap. Can't be doing that kind of crap when you have that kind of quarterback. So something to keep in mind. So NY2FLA, thank you so much for the super chat. And again, guys, make sure you jump in on the super chat train to make sure you get your question answered. Like I said, I will try to go through all of these. We have a million questions in here, so I will try to get to all of these if I can. But you guarantee an answer on the show if you super chat, just like NY2FLA. And there is no maximum, minimum, whatever you'd like to do would support the channel. Let's go to Ragnar Jet here. Zach with LaFleur and Beck shored up his weaknesses post-injury. Amazingly, did what he did against Brady and the Bucs. He was fully trending up with no offense around him, and now, wow, he's taken that leap. I fully expect him to take this leap. How big it is? Well, that's going to be up to Zach Wilson. I mean, the talent around him is insane. The tight end position went from one of the worst in the NFL to top 10, and I'd be willing to go even higher, but I got to do a full deep dive on the rest of the NFL roster, see what those tight ends look like. But not knowing off the top of my head where all the movement was, I'd say they're top 10, top 5 tight ends in the league, which I can't believe I've ever said that as an entire group. So the tight end's good. The wide receivers are good. The offensive line is great, a healthy running game. Man, Zach Wilson can have a year, folks. It could be. Is it Joe Burrow Super Bowl? I don't know. I'm all for it. My seatbelt's buckled. I'm ready to roll, baby. But I think there's a leap coming. Let's go there. Keep it simple, RC. Has everyone jumped the Patriots in the AFC East? It feels that way. They didn't really do lick of anything. Obviously, in the draft, they got worse with the picks. Free agency was non-existent. Their corners are trash. That's the big thing for me. They lost J.C. Jackson, did nothing. They brought Malcolm Butler basically out of retirement. Okay, I don't know. It's you know, you always say, well, it's Bill Belichick. He'll figure it out. I don't know, man. I think, but here's the thing. You can't, has everyone jumped them? Let's play the games. When the Jets go down to Foxborough and smack the crap out of the Patriots, and I hope they run up the score. The Jets, I hope they just kind of, that's one ritual animal sacrifice that the Jets have arrived that I'm looking for, is drinking the blood of the New England Patriots. So if that can happen, that would be phenomenal. But it looks like it on paper, keep it simple, RC, but we got to see when the season gets here. But good question. Good topic. Back to Hyder. Zach's Fifth Avenue looks great physically, but truth be told, he came in around 6'2", 215. Lawrence was at 6'6", 216. Just saying. Yeah, here's the thing here. A lot of people question the size of Zach Wilson, but basically he's the same size as Aaron Rodgers. I feel like there's sometimes much ado about nothing. Again, I get how the puzzle piece was put together, right? So Zach Wilson had some injuries in college. You look at the frame, you're like, oh, obviously the frame, he's too small. But I think sometimes we could kind of gloss over a lot of things, which again, I think is kind of gets a little lost in the shuffle. Christopher Sullivan on YouTube. Ulbrich loved the Clemens pick, and he was going to go probably round 2 if he didn't have the arrest. 100%, Christopher. From what I hear, this was now round 1 talent probably is too aggressive, but he was a round 2, round 3 talent that slipped because of the off the field stuff. But Ulbrich was clapping up a storm, baby. He's excited. And again, I advocated for 2 pass rushers. You got Jermaine Johnson, you get Clemens, phenomenal. This was a incredibly deep pass rusher class, and I wanted to come away with 2, and the Jets did. So they answered my wish, Chris, and I think he can be a freak, and I think he'll make the roster. I mean, we're really deep at defensive line, which is going to be one of the great battles to watch in training camp, but I'm all about it, baby. John Hepburn, when you're a Jet all the way from your first cigarette to your last dying day, 100%. And I think Bilal Powell actually, in his retirement interview with Eric Allen, really did a phenomenal job kind of talking about that he kind of described Jet fans as being these tough-nosed bunch, and they can be harsh and boo you and all these other things. But once you kind of get accepted, so to speak, by the Jets fan base, you're a member of the Jets community forever. And Bilal Powell, fan favorite, will forever, no matter what he does, will forever be remembered as one of the true good guys. So that couldn't be more true. A great comment, John. Matt Morris, we have a ton of potential, but a ton of youth. It will be a fun, decisive season. I will say this, Matt. They have a ton of youth, but the thing I love is last year. Now, last year, it was not fun. There was fun moments. The Zach Wilson, Jacksonville touchdown, the Zach Wilson, Corey Davis touchdown, but some of the blowouts, getting embarrassed by the Colts in primetime, that was tough. And the Patriots, that was tough. So there was a couple of tough moments, but the sacrifice of the Jets was the youth, was gaining all that precious experience. Brandon Echols starting 12, 13, 14 games. I mean, and now he's depth. Bryce Hall starting all those games, depth. All the young guys that kind of dove on the sword, and thus we kind of had a bad year because it was so young. Joe Douglas talked about in the post-draft presser, kind of giving a tip of the cap to Salah, saying, I put you guys in basically a shitty position, saying, hey, you guys obviously had a much tougher road because you were all young guys, but in the long run, it's going to be great. And I think that pays immediate dividends, quite frankly, but we'll see. So we'll see. It should be a fun season, though, Matt. Keep it simple, RC. T. Higgins goes around 2, 2020 draft to Bengals. Jamar Chase goes round 1 to the Bengals. Elijah Moore round 2. Garrett Wilson round 1. I've heard a couple people make these analogies and comparisons. And again, Chris Collinsworth kind of bringing it up on the Chris Collinsworth podcast. He said, like, could the Jets go from worst to first? And he and Austin Gale, the other member of PFF, were kind of openly talking about it. Ultimately, they settled on no, but they think it's an interesting proposition because of all the talent that was added and the potential jump. And again, what Zach Wilson becomes is what the Jets become. If he has this meteoric rise, and I don't even think he has to, but obviously it'd be a lot of fun if he did, and immediately jumped into the top quarterbacks in the NFL. I mean, that's where we're getting crazy, and maybe fair or unfair. But yeah, there is a path to do it, and we'll see if the Jets can. So it's going to be fun. Keep it simple. Matt Morris, I believe the Jets organization as a whole are sold on Wilson. That's why they're building like they are. 100%. Of course, you have to be. They just selected him number 2 overall, but I think the buy-in is true. They're seeing the flashes, and they think they can take him to the next level. Now they just got to take him to that next level. So it's not just on Zach, it's on the coaching. The coaching has to get the most out of him and choreograph. But I feel confident. LaFleur really came into his own in the second half of the season. John Hepburn, we have to play Jets football, play our game, let other teams adjust to us. 100%. Now, I want to see them run the football. I want to see them pound the rock. And I think that's going to set everything else up, the play action game and everything else. I think they wanted to run the ball last year, but some of the questionability of the offensive line, the weird, like when Michael Carter finally got involved and then he got hurt. So, I think it's going to be a lot better to be able to establish whatever that identity is, which I think will be featuring the running game as it was supposed to last year. Keep it simple, RC. Jets defense will be significantly better if the offense keeps them off the field. That's another part of the equation that we don't really consider. People forget the Jets defense actually was lights out at first. Carolina Panthers, so take that for what you will. But, outside of Christian McCaffrey is doing Christian McCaffrey things, like the defense was really good early. We're like, wow, look at what Jeff Ulbrich, he's making chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what. And your guys are going to not believe it, but there was articles out there that, Jeff Ulbrich could leave the Jets and become a head coach somewhere based on what he was doing early in the year. And then everyone wanted to fire him at the end of the year. And it was reversed for Mike LaFleur. Fire this guy. He sucks. He's never been a play caller before. Get rid of him. End of year. Wow, Mike LaFleur, Hall of Fame, up in the booth. We're a crazy bunch, us Jet fans. We're a crazy bunch. But to answer your question, though, the defense will be better if the offense can stay on the field, whether it's the quick drives or just methodical and getting first downs. The defense can breathe a little bit naturally. You're right. Keep it simple, RC. That should help. Christopher Sullivan, Wilson, and Beckner are the keys to the season being successful. No question about it. The good news is that his impact will be somewhat mitigated if George Fant ends up winning the left tackle job. Even if Mekhi Becton gets hurt, at least you've got the blind side protected, which is the most important part. At least on the other side, Zach Wilson can see it coming. But to your point, though, if Becton becomes the unbelievable superstar that he showed to be in year 1, and then your tackle tandem, and the Jets, I imagine at that point, would re-sign George Fant immediately, and boom, you got your bookend tackles, or that would be high on the priority list for the 2023 NFL draft to go get your other tackle. But nonetheless, 100%. That is a key that I don't think enough people are talking about, Chris, is making sure that Becton is the player we all think he's going to be. And by the way, free extra nugget here. Mekhi Becton obviously has a pregnant girlfriend, and when that baby arrives, the expectation from Joe Douglas is Mekhi Becton will then report to the rest of voluntary offseason training activities. So take that for what you will for all the people that are going crazy. Dark Soldier Crew, welcome to the show, baby. Welcome. Very nice. Great to have you, Dark. Love it. Dave Etchenberry here. Stack the 2023 draft range on top of this year and look out, NFL. 100%. Now, they don't have the same wiggle room, and despite all the rumors and speculation and hoopla, the Jets did not move any capital into 2023. There was no trades that included that. So they're going back to normal. So I guess Jet fans, prepare yourself for that. The days of multiple firsts, multiple seconds, those are over starting next year. But you know what? I'm hoping we're not talking about the draft till, I don't know, after we win the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be talking draft week 7, week 6, week 5. I don't want to be doing any of that. So hopefully not. Hopefully all that free agency speculation, draft speculation, hopefully all that's in the rearview mirror. We're talking playoffs. We're talking contending. We're talking about all that fun stuff instead of all the draft and free agency stuff. That would be nice for a change. Let's go to Kay Newren. Playoffs, Jets, Zach, 100%. Let's go, baby. Like a Jim Moore, playoffs. And I released that clip from SNY earlier today on my Twitter account. It was Steve Gelbs, it was Willie Colon, Bart Scott, and Leger Douzable. And they were openly talking about, oh, man, what are expectations? And Bart Scott goes, wild card, baby. That's expectations. When you bring this amount of new talent, draft, free agency, and everything else, you bring that much players, wild cards in contention. By the way, folks who may go playoffs, I don't know. That seems too early for all that. There are 7 teams that make the playoffs on each side. There are 32 teams in the NFL, 16 teams in each conference. Basically, half the teams in the conference make the playoffs. Yes, we're asking you to be average. We're asking you to be half. Essentially, it's not quite half. 7 is 14. There's 16 teams, but it's close enough. Like, let's get to the playoffs. We've been to the playoffs 11 years. 11. We have the longest active NFL playoff drought. The 2 AFC championship games were 11 years ago. I was a different man. Hell, I'm 29 now. I got to get used to that. I was in high school. Jesus. Come on, Jets, for Pete's sake. Before I'm dead, let's get to the goddamn playoffs. I mean, for Pete's sake. Unbelievable. Let's see. Old Dave Eschenberry, Buffalo does not match up well against us this run game. The Jets will be competitive in the division, which will be a goddamn first because they haven't won a division game in 2+ years. Technically 3 years if you want to stretch it all the way out because this year hasn't happened yet. But 2 years, 0-12. How can you do anything if you do that shitty inside your division, man? So yeah, let's win some divisional games. Now, speaking of the division on a whole, the Jets were super competitive against Miami both times, and they had like nothing. The Jets and Buffalo were super competitive. Even in that first game that I went to, unfortunately, the Mike White blow-up game where everyone said, oh, yeah, that's over. But I was at that game. The Jets play the Bills pretty tough. Now, New England has been a disaster for the most part, so they're going to have to flip that around. But hey, I'm saying it's possible, baby. And look at Dark Soldier. New England coming in last. Oh, my God, if that happens, I will celebrate like nobody's business. That will be almost as great as the Jets winning the Super Bowl. That's not really true. That's somewhat hyperbolic, but you get the point. I would drink the tears of New England fans. No question about it. Oh, God, that would be awesome. Dark Soldier. Stephen Ingalls. Zach is the only second-year quarterback to have the same coaching staff come back. Am I right? Okay, so let's go through the so Justin Fields, obviously, no, not same. Trevor Lawrence, not the same. Houston with Davis Mills and Texans, so no. Mac Jones, I guess, but they don't have the same overall coaching staff, to your point, to Josh McDaniels probably, so no. And then Zach Wilson. Those are the 5 guys. Yeah. So, yes, that's true. Wow, that's kind of a cool fun fact. So, out of the second-year guys, he has the most continuity to kind of reverse answer the question. Yes, that would be true. I guess the only other one that I'm forgetting is I think it's Trey Lance. Oh, yeah, so Matt Morris has that one. So, Trey Lance, right? Technically, but I guess he didn't get the same rep, so he's going to have that quasi-rookie year. He only played situationally, so if you still want to count him, the majority of the coaching staff is the same. Kyle Shanahan, Colin plays, 49ers, all that. But that's the only different one, I would say. Besides that, all the rest of them, no. And that's a good point from Dark Soldier. All 3 teams in the division have new action, right? The Bills lost all their guys to the Giants, so Brian Dable, all of them are gone. Miami, obviously, they blew up the whole thing, so they're gone. New England, Josh McDaniels, that's gone. So, yes, continuity in the Jets? Huh? Well, blind squirrel finds out every once in a while, I guess. Let's see. Johnny Quest. Patriots did a lot of business last year. I believe they know what they're doing. Bill will be a problem in the East. See, Johnny, that's the thing. That the overall arching take is, well, Bill Belichick will figure it out. And again, based on all his Super Bowl championships and his success with the Patriots and Giants and everywhere else, we have no point but to do that exact same thing. So to me, I'm not going to, maybe there'll be hyped up points this offseason where I'm going crazy. But right now, like until the Jets go into New England or welcome them for a home, hey, let's bring the Patriots week 1. That'd be a fun game. But until we get that one where the Jets just smack the Patriots real good, it's hard not to have that take, Johnny, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Flash Aussie, the player under most pressure on our playmakers is Corey Davis. If he has another so-so year, we can exit his contract for an upgrade in 2023. 100% Flash. No question about it. There is an out on the contract. But to me, if anyone was going to have a comeback here, and there was a lot of guys, quite frankly, that obviously had bad years. Carl Lawson never got to play, so whether that's his fault or not, hey, whatever. You got injured. So Corey Davis and a bunch of other guys that struggle. Corey Davis seems like the one that's due for a strong bounce back. He's now going to be in a more comfortable position. First off, he's got more help around him. Garrett Wilson and Elijah Moore could both be wide receiver one. So Corey Davis is in a more comfortable complementary role. That's what he was in Tennessee with A.J. Brown. So he's more comfortable from that standpoint. And a lot of the issues were uncharacteristic. He doesn't drop a lot of passes. He dropped a ton last year. Career high in drops last year. Fumbles, like wide receivers fumbling anyway is weird, but he fumbled a ton. And then durability. He was a super durable player during his entire time in Tennessee. Bunch of injuries. So it seems like just kind of a, the series of unfortunate events. It seems like a little bit of that for Corey, but I think he's due for a big bounce back for sure. Phenom here on YouTube. Pressure breaks pipes or makes diamonds. This season is about the continued evaluation of Zach Wilson. Is he the franchise quarterback or not? That is the question. Little William Shakespeare. Is he the franchise quarterback? Is he not the franchise quarterback? That is the question. Of course it is. And I love that. Pressure breaks pipes or makes diamonds. That's a great line. I got to crochet that on a pillow for my living room. That's nice. Phenom. Nice. But 100%. Again, what he is or isn't will be the Jets. But I think Connor Hughes had a great point recently on the Can't Wait podcast. Great podcast. Support a fellow Jet show. And to be honest with you, from Connor Hughes' standpoint, that Zach Wilson doesn't have to be Patrick Mahomes. He could be just an average run-of-the-mill starting quarterback. Ari Maroff said something similar. And then you have enough talent around you where that will lift you. And then again, if he becomes the superstar, then whoo-wee, the ceiling is an unbelievable thing. So 100%, that is the question. I believe I'm drinking the juice. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid, man. I love what I've seen off the field. I love what I saw on the field in the final 6 or so games, man. And, those spots where he had the rocket launcher throw to Corey Davis, and he had a couple of really great throws in that game. Some of the wow throws that, even going back to Carolina, where he kind of reverses field, spins out, and just kind of lost one. Corey's wide open, and boop, perfect throw. Like, oh, yeah, that's all great. Let's go. Keep it simple, RC. Will you get a chance to peek under LaFleur's offensive skirt at training camp? I will tell you this, Keep it simple, RC. A couple years ago, for what am I thinking? Yeah, for my radio show, I did the New York trip. I went to Buffalo's camp and Giants camp. The Jets one kind of fell through, and it was right before COVID. But I was able to go to Giants camp, get cool behind the scenes, meet with the media, meet with the team. That was a lot of cool. Did that with the Bills. I'm looking forward to doing it with the Jets, quite frankly, and I hope we're able to. So there is a potential. I've been talking about that with my radio team about doing kind of a trip around training camp for all those. So fingers crossed. And hopefully, if so, I can meet a bunch of you guys. That'd be pretty cool. So I will keep you guys posted. Straight 100 Jets. JD is building the team the right way. We might have the best core players under 25 in the entire NFL. I think I have to see a little bit because a lot of them are unproven, obviously, like Garrett Wilson, Jermaine Johnson, Sauce, and all those guys. But the talent is undeniable. I mean, the talent from one to the other has been just dramatic change from a couple years ago to now. So he has been doing a phenomenal job. Macho Man Boy Green. Yes, sir. Got a little bit of that action going on. So I love it. And by the way, I will throw this out there. Speaking of Macho Man, I'm working with my team behind the scenes, and we're working on a brand new logo. I'm going to kind of release it, hopefully here somewhat soon, where you guys can see what our graphics team has put together. We may be slapping this on T-shirts, coffee mugs, God knows what. So if you guys are interested, stay tuned to my Twitter account. I'll try to put it on all my social media. But my graphics team is putting something behind the scenes, a unique entity where you can support Boy Green with T-shirts, and we're going to put it on everything, basically. And they're working behind the scenes. We've been going back and forth on the vision, but there's a little Macho Man-ish to it. Perhaps you will see it. So there's a little tip. There's a little Macho Man Randy Savage inspiration behind the graphics. So, guys, stay tuned for that. Phenom Boy Green, you rock. I love it, baby. I love it. David Etchenberry, Tyreek who? That's as far as I'm concerned. Tyreek who? Tyreek yo mama. We don't care. Keep it simple, RC. I'm feeling that 1998 preseason hype again. Hopefully Zach doesn't tear the Achilles. Well, thank you for putting that into the ethos. Keep it simple. Yeah, we don't need any Vinny Testaverde action, but there's a lot of hype here. It feels palpable, the energy. Stephen Engel, Tyreek Hill without Mahomes ain't going to go so well. And what about Mahomes without Tyreek Hill? He's had Tyreek Hill his entire career. I'm just kind of curious. I know this is a Jet show, but I'm just kind of openly curious. How does he operate with that? Kind of interesting. And the same thing, right? Again, if Tua can't hit the broadside of a barn, it's not going to matter what weapons he has, to my car example earlier. Keep it simple, RC. Zach will be operating behind an iron wall. That should help. Like I said, I love the guard combination. AVT, nice. Laken Tomlinson, nice. Connor McGovern, solid enough. And then you got your tackle tandem. So that looks great. David Jets line, the Wolves of Wall Street. I like that name. That's very nice. That's very nice. Matt Morris, we're a completely different team this season. Tons of views, so much talent. You bet. That is Clemens. It is very the Michael Clemens, Stephen, is I must break you like Drago. Like he's very, again, I don't mean it in an insulting way. I'm not like questioning his intelligence or anything like that, but he's just a man of very few words, very intense from the interview. Like almost like, oh, he's gonna punch me. Like he just, and again, maybe that's what Joe Douglas was looking for. He was talking about that mean, that nasty he brings to the table. That's what I see. It is a little Drago action. It's kind of funny. VR Hail Doggo, cool hat. I got that one. Yes, I'll take you off the screen real quick, VR. I got the full support the troops gear. This is fresh. This is the brand new hat from this year. I got it for Christmas. A new hoodie. Got it for Christmas. I buy. I love getting all the Jets merch. That's why, like every episode, you see me wearing something different. I have been wearing the Jets draft week, the Jets draft hat all week. That's a tongue twister. And so I've been supporting kind of the draft. So I like to mix them up. The Jets draft hat is over my left shoulder here. So I got that one and then all the Jets hats on the wall. So I try to mix it up and show you guys different stuff. And also just so I can show off. It's a weird flex. But yeah, this is a great hat. Great hat. Strongly support the troops. Let's go to Boomtown 89ers. This leads into my question. What would you say are the three weakest positions on the Jets as of today? Three weakest. Okay, let's try to go through here. It sounds insulting to the guy. Safety has to be there. Like, I'm intrigued. Will Park seems like a great dude, but he's got much to prove. I mean, you got Jordan Whitehead, but is he among the best safeties in the NFL? No. So, they got Elijah Riley and a bunch of guys. So safety has to be there. Linebacker probably has to be there. I love CJ Mosley. I love Quincy Williams. I love what he brings to the table, but that's got to be a perceived weakness. I think the cornerback group's really talented. The edge rushers are good. Interior defensive line is interesting. I mean, you got Quinnen, and it's a 4-3 scheme. So, yeah. I mean, I guess those are it. I'm trying to think of, there's not great depth at offensive tackle, but I wouldn't call it weak. Like, I like our two starters. Yeah, that's probably it. We kind of talked about it earlier, but safety, linebacker, probably interior defensive line. Again, you got Quinnen, but Sheldon Rankins was terrible against the run last year. Could use another guy. But the fact that we're like Hemming and Hahn is great because before I would list like 30 positions. Like, oh boy, this terrible. But they're going to have an opportunity to improve some of that, Boomtown. But great question. Love that question. Stephen Engel, wouldn't mind bringing back LDT 100%. We don't really have that interior guy that you feel great. Dan Feeney doesn't really do it for me, so not sure he kind of revs the engine, so to speak. So there's some question there with Feeney. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the interior roster. There's no LDT that they were able to bring in. So LDT would be a perfect guy, quite frankly. There's been mutual, and now's the time, now that the draft is kind of passed and the dust is kind of settled on the roster. He would be a guy I would fully expect them to bring back. It would make a lot of sense. Dark Soldier, I'm convinced Paul was a cartoon character in a previous life. Yeah, I got a lot of the voices. I don't really know where this came from, but voiceover work is something I think I should dabble in to try to get it. I'm very animated, I like to throw the hands around a lot, like the voice kind of rides the emotional roller coaster from, quiet to deep to high and everything in between. So there is a lot of that. There is that. Stephen Engel, definitely the Looney Tunes brand. Yes, no question about it. I am a few taco short of a combo meal if you pick up what I'm pushing there. That's for sure. Let's see. I don't see solid pushing for vets at linebacker. I know he wants speed. Don't think you'll get that from the older guys. 100%. They could just love Hobson, Nasruddin, and Jamian Sherwood, who we've talked about before. So maybe they don't bring in a Quan Alexander or Reuben Foster, but possible it could come from that standpoint. But I think you're right. I mean, they had opportunities to add guys. They did add Marcel Harris. He's a former safety linebacker combo from the 49ers. So they added him. So maybe that's enough. But I would kind of like some depth there. Again, another reminder to everyone who's watching the Jet Zone or listening later, but But specifically for those who are watching right now, make sure you like the video, hit subscribe down below for great New York Jets content. We have a lot of great interviews. We had none other than Ari Meroff earlier this week, the PFF NFL Insider. We're doing live streams like this every Wednesday, the Jet Zone. And, of course, we got a couple interviews. There are Breece Hall interviews dropping tomorrow so people can meet the fleet and learn more about them. So make sure you subscribe. And also, if you're watching on YouTube right now, hit the old Super Chat and make sure you send some support to the show. Help us spend more time, invest more resources into this wonderful channel, which has been a lot of fun. So make sure you guys hit that Super Chat button and show your support for the channel. Let's see. NY2FLA Jets fan. P.S. All odds for Jets to win AFC East, AFC, and Super Bowl dropped in half after the draft. Wow. 2,500 to 1,500, 15,000 to 10,000, 25,000 to 15,000. Man, I guess I should have gotten my money in. That would have been nice. That would have been real nice. All right, we got a Jersey Dude 4680F. Love the uniqueness. I don't think anyone's taking that from you, pal. Didn't they say Fletcher Cox didn't shake our player hand at coin toss because he didn't respect the team? Yeah, there was a little bit of that weird myth when the Jets and Eagles played. C.J. Mosley called Fletcher Cox out and a couple of the guys. Then there was a picture of them hugging at midfield before the game. So they said, what? Is C.J. Mosley a liar? So I don't know if that was just made up chip on the shoulder kind of thing, but you are right. Fletcher Cox was apparently part of that group. And then C.J. Mosley said Fletcher Cox and others were, quote unquote, laughing on the sideline during the game when the Eagles were kicking the Jets Paducah. Although, remember, that was a Zach Wilson boom, 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 boom. 3 touchdowns right off the bat. The apparent gun show between Minshew and Wilson. Ultimately, the Eagles won that pissing contest, obviously. But yes, that's true, Jersey, that was part of it. But I'm not really sure what the truth was because, like I said, photos and videos were shown after the game of like, what are you talking about, CJ? Look right here. We were hugging it out. What are you talking about? So I don't know, but that is true. That was a topic of conversation. Dave Boy Green bringing the juice today. Yes, sir. We always got to do. We got to bring up the energy, the chutzpah. You know, there's so many podcasts where it's just, and it's funny. I was like at a restaurant or something. No, a doctor's office. I don't even know where I was at, but I looked up at the TV and there was this podcast, right? And there's this old guy with like a little headset on and he's got a little mic. He's going, hey, everybody, welcome to the Josh Johnson podcast. Hope you guys are doing great. Like, I'm just like, man, I can't even imagine doing a podcast like that of just like, you know, so sterile, so monotone, so, hey, everybody, how are you? Yeah, great to do the show. Like, what the hell? Where's the juice? Where's the energy? Where's the riding the emotional roller coaster? Where's the pops of action? And I heard a couple complaints. I guess I'm going to get a new mic that can cover my full range of voice. You know, I got this wonderful mic camera combination, but, you know, apparently I need a new mic that can cover the full wide span of the Jets Boy Green voice that goes all over the place. Puck the Patriots. There you go. Love that. Very nice. So I always try to bring the juice. Veer Hail Dago. Do Jets have confidence in Sherwood and Nasruddin, or do we pick up a Quan Alexander for our linebackers? Maybe both. For the depth purposes, Quan would be super cheap. The former highest paid linebacker, not getting paid that way anymore. But I will tell you, the Jets love Sherwood and Nasruddin. Now, Hamza looked great in the early part of the offseason. Then he gets hurt. Jamian kind of looked lost out there when he got his opportunity with all the injuries that happened at linebacker. Remember Jared Davis and a couple other guys. But they love those guys. And they love – I don't know if it's love but denial. Like, hey, man, we're going to try this social experiment until it works, or, you know, or it's just they really love it and it's, you know, just genuine love. That I don't know. I can't speak to that, but I'll tell you this. I think they may do both, but they love Sherwood and Nasruddin. They absolutely LOVE head over heels that combination. So it's very possible. Stephen Angle, Quan Alexander sucks. Now, come on. I don't think he sucks. I think he's got some intriguing athletic traits. He's been injured a lot, which in an unbelievable. I mean, really, I did an article about him when the Jets worked him out, and yikes, it was like a large. The Achilles, the shoulder, the ankle. I mean, he's had a litany. So it'd have to be like a veteran minimum kind of deal. But I think he's got the talent and scheme familiarity, obviously. AM, first rookie to score the season, Sauce Gardner. Oh, pick 6, baby. Oh, that would be nice. That'd be nice. Just a defensive touchdown. Like, you're playing the Dolphins, who's the example I keep throwing up. So if they actually do play the Dolphins, hey, give me a lot of credit. But that's just kind of the random name I picked, right? Like Dolphins win the toss, say, we want the ball. And then like first row, Ahmad Sauce Gardner, pick six. Does a little Dion, a little Brown gets it in the end zone, touchdown. Sauce Gardner. Like, unbelievable. Wow. Like, there was a couple years ago, it was a Jets season opener. I'm not going to remember the year. Jets, Bills. I remember Cromartie had this wonderful pick six. The Jets won like 48 to like squat. The Jets were the highest scoring offense. And it was funny because I think that season opener came off a preseason where the Jets like scored nothing and beat reporters going, oh boy, the Jets offense sucks this year. And then booyah. I think Jeremy Curley, if I remember correctly, and booyah, 48 points or something. Just like pounded the Bills. I need one of those games to kick off a year to send us to an unbelievable hype train to anywhere. That would be awesome. AM, Zach Wilson would have had more touchdowns and yards if he didn't have such a high drop percentage last season. Retooling that receiver room pays dividends immediately. The other part that people may not know, I think Nania was the one that got out the stat, but Zach Wilson was like one of the most unlucky quarterbacks with like throwing to guys and then they like fall at the 5-yard line or 1-yard line. And those all would have been touchdowns added to Zach Wilson's ledger, but it didn't happen because they like tripped and a couple guys got 1-yard touchdowns. I can't remember what the number was, but like Nania talked about it was like an unbelievable unluckiness. And again, that's sometimes a perception, right? So that's kind of interesting. Oh, wait, Dark Soldier has it. Also had the highest percentage of caught passes stopped on the 1-yard line. It's more than double league average. Exactly. That's funny. I didn't even see that. So that's what I was talking about. So that's a factor. Dave Etcheberry with the 32nd pick of the 2023 NFL Draft. The Jets select. You know what's funny? I kind of joked about this. This isn't funny, but like the Lions, right? If you would have told Lions fans 2 years ago, hey guys, you're picking 32nd, right? They lose their crap. They're like, yeah, we won the Super Bowl. And we're like, oh, you actually traded your pick to a team that won the Super Bowl. So that's how you got it. But, that'd be cool, man. Hey, I'm all for the mock drafts at 32nd where we're like, F the picks. I'm looking forward to that. Stephen Engel, we could start drinking the Kool-Aid for a change because we've been drinking piss for the last 12 years. That's funny. That is funny. That's a good line, Stephen. You got to keep that one. I've never heard that one before. That one's funny. Losing McDaniels, I thought was a shocker of the offseason. 100%, because after he burned the Colts, I'm like, man, is this dude ever going to get a job again? And then he ends up going to Vegas. So 100%, that helps the Jets. Great. Blow up that continuity. Blow up that system. We'll see if Bill Belichick still has the magic. Via Harold Dago, I hear John Beck, Zach's quarterback guru, will not be retained this year. Does this affect Zach? Yeah, let's explain this real quick because I think this kind of got lost in the shuffle. So, okay, Jets have this contingent with Zach Wilson, right? Again, God rest his soul. We had that entire combination of guys where you had a quarterback whisperer, you had a quarterback coach. Kavanaugh ended up coming in to replace the wonderful Jets coach that we lost, who had only been on the job and had worked with some of the greatest quarterbacks ever, Peyton Manning, Michael Vick, and so many others. And like I said, God rest his soul. And they had that, and they had the loss, and they had the new guys coming in. So they had a great combination of offensive coaches that were there. And then ultimately they bring in Zach's quarterback guru, John Beck. Now, John Beck has his own private quarterback practice. He actually works with Zach Wilson during the offseason, and basically was signed in the middle of the year for the year. Now, a lot of members of the beat kind of blew that up and said, oh, man, obviously the Jets are failing and they're desperate. That's why they brought in John Beck. To me, I thought it was like, hey, I think it takes a lot of gall in the middle of the year to be like, you know what? We're not just, hey, we're right about everything. Like, hey, you know what? I think we could help by bringing in John Beck. Like, I think it's very progressive, quite frankly, to just be very open and honest with yourself. Like, hey, we think this can help. Let's bring him in. So I didn't look at it as a negative. I saw some members of the beat did. But anywho, here's the rule with John Beck and why I actually agree with the decision not to retain him, quite frankly, is first off, he is his own quarterback practice. So you probably had to pay him an unreal amount of money to keep him. Not that I care. It's not my money. But, the fact of the matter is if he's technically a member of your staff, you can't then work with him privately. There's rules and stuff like Saleh and everybody couldn't talk with the players during this time away. Since John Beck is no longer a member of that organization, he's allowed to do it. So I think it was a unique advantage to bring him in the building. He gets to understand the coach's language, what they're asking of Zach. So now he and Zach are on the same page. And when they're working privately on the side, Like, he knows exactly what the Jets are looking for, so that should help to practice this offseason, long story short. So I do not believe it affects Zach in a negative way, a positive way, quite frankly, that he was in the room, hearing the quarterback coach's conversations, and he was there all week. So he heard the pregame, the tape study, the game, after the game. Here, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did this right, you did this right. And I just think it's going to really help the process overall. But that's a great question, VR. I think it helps, to be honest with you. Jake Klein, after passing on the Colts job, made me believe Bill was giving him the patch job when he retires. There was that thought that was hanging out there that perhaps he could do that, but it could be Jim Boeheimish. That's a Syracuse reference up here, that you could have like this guy that was promised to be the guy and be there, but it just kind of never came to fruition, and he just wanted to keep coaching, doesn't want to walk away. I mean, ultimately, we'll see. We'll see it when he walks away. Johnny Quest, love to see Mims have a hell of a year. Lear the scheme, let them scheme Mims, essentially. And I will tell you this: Daniel Jeremiah in his recent Move the Sticks podcast said Denzel Mims is looking phenomenal. He's looking great, so that's phenomenal that he's looking good. And we'll see. Right now, though, his ceiling is a fifth receiver. How can he get? So you have Elijah Moore, starter. Garrett Wilson, starter. Corey Davis, starter. Braxton Berrios, gadget guy. Like Denzel, best case scenario, could be wide receiver 5, and he's played 0 special team snaps his entire career. I question how that's going to work out. Maybe he just popped so well that Braxton's used in so limited gadget plays in return man that Denzel is now the other guy to eat as wide receiver 4. Maybe, but man, it seems hard to believe. When you're in that position on the roster, wide receiver 4 or 5, you have to play special teams. Denzel Mims literally has not played a single snap of special teams, according to the Pro Football Reference Advanced Stats and Metrics. That seems hard to believe, but I hope so. I love the kid, and you invested a lot into him. K. Newman, Zach will be great this year. I hope so. That's going to be great. This is going to be phenomenal. I'm seeing there is just someone that's invaded the chat. I won't bring him on. That is just, destroying. Zach Wilson's going to be a turnover machine, 3 wins at most. So this guy's invaded the Jets chat. So you guys can let him have it. That would be great. Predicting an 8 to 10 win season. That's kind of the range for me, to be honest with you, that you're competing for, John Hepburn. Phenom, awesome to see you at camp. I hope so. If and when that happens, if and when that happens, that'd be great. I'll let you guys know so we can make it happen. So let's bring in William, who I thought was just a troll of another team, which again, I'm fine. This podcast is for everybody, man. I don't care. Patriots fan, Colts fan, whatever fan. And William was laying down the negativity here in the chat with things like Zach Wilson's going to be a bust and Zach Wilson is deer in headlights. Like, here are some of William's comments here. Zach Wilson, deer in headlights, bust for sure. Zach was going to turn into a turnover machine, 30 interceptions, and 3 wins at most. And then Steven asked him, what team do you like? He says the Jets, but I'm not buying the crap anymore. William, I'll say this. I've said this before on the show. It's worth repeating. Why have a negative outlook on life? Again, I don't know how old you are, or you got this just a W, so I don't even see your face. You're just kind of a nameless internet thing for me right now. But I got to tell you, man, is that why be negative? Why? I get that the Jets have burned a lot of us. Obviously, we're all Jet fans. We're in misery together here. They burned us a lot over the years. There have been great moments, AFC Championship runs, late 90s AFC Championship run with Parcells. Like, there's been moments, a Super Bowl, if you want to go back that far. Like, there's been moments that we all love. But, like, why be negative? To me, we don't control the hand that we're dealt in life, but we control how we react to it. Like, to me, I'm an optimistic guy. Let's be optimistic. Let's spread that positive energy and juice and everything to other people and raise their spirits up. Like, William, don't just, hang in the mud and, oh, man, this year's going to suck. Like, come on, man. Like, why don't you be optimistic? Who knows what could happen? That's how I do it. So, like, let's just, come on, man. Let's be happy. Let's be happy if we can. Let's see. Oh, wow, another super chat. Eddie De Jesus. May the force be with you and also with you. Did you guys, by the way, I'm a Star Wars nerd, and any of you Star Trekkies out there, boo, turn your phaser guns to loser. Star Trek sucks. But anywho, for all you Star Wars people, did you see the new Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus series? I'm not getting any promotion from Disney Plus that you love, but yeah, may the 4th be with all of you guys. I'm a Star Wars fan, baby. I saw that trailer earlier. Looks amazing. So, yes, thanks for the super chat, Eddie. That's awesome. Again, thank you so much. That's phenomenal. So, yes, go Jets Empire. I've had enough of the Patriots Empire. Let's develop an empire of our own. Yeah, that came out today. May the fourth be with you. Yes, to all of you joining us. Very nice. Let's see. Let's go through some final comments here before my fiance kills me because we're supposed to go eat lunch. But let me go through this. 9 to 10 wins this year. If Zach makes a second-year jump, Pete, that would be phenomenal. The Jets draft had his hot trash. Oh, come on. Look at this. Let's look at this. Come on, man. That's not trash. Very simplistic. I like it. Look at that. That's nice. Very nice. And they got the Jets logo on the back. Not trash. Not trash. That's a hot take a lot of people have. Not trash. I love this hat. This is a great hat. Freaking great hat. So I vehemently disagree with your take, Steven. Draft hats get worse every year. Come on, man. I love the draft hats. That is a ritual. I get that every year. No question. Let's see. K. Newman. Jets last. What KT is lacking a mean streak and wants to play the game to win. Yeah, again, I want a KT, but if you would have told me after the fact they would have gotten Jermaine Johnson at 26, I would have been cool with the value. So I would have been cool with that. That would have been my take on it. But I don't know. Let's see. Steven Engel, linebacker in this defense is the least important. It's all about D-line pressure and covering with the secondary. I can understand the argument if you say something like that, Steven, but I'm going to be honest. I think the linebackers are super important. I mean, to me, they're you have bread and bread. They're the meat of the sandwich. I think they're quite important, to be honest with you. Now, the amount of linebackers can be mitigated with nickel packages, so you only have 2 on the field instead of the 3 that the scheme would suggest that you have. But no, I still think they're super important. But again, the 2 sides of the sandwich can somewhat mitigate the impact, because if the defensive line is doing great and the corner's doing great, then the linebackers' jobs are a lot easier. So that's one way to look at it as well. Monty H, LOL at the 7-win floor. That's probably the ceiling. Almost every other AFC team got way better this offseason. Monty, and by the way, welcome to the show. I don't think I've ever seen you here on YouTube, so welcome to the channel, man, and thanks for the support. By the way, like the video, hit subscribe as we're kind of wrapping up here with our final questions and topics and comments. I will say this. A lot of people are saying this. Monty, come on. It's May 4th. May the 4th be with you. Like, there is no way in hell that we could say, oh, man. And again, if you look at the AFC, let's pull it up. You know what? Let's do this. Okay, I want to do this real quick. I'm going to pull up the AFC standings, okay? And we're going to walk all through this together because I think this is important. So, NFL standings, Google, the old Google machine. Let's just do a quick gander, if I will. Take a peek here at the NFL standings, okay? And while everyone is 0-0 right now, the real thing that I want to look at is the AFC conference. Okay, let's talk about some of those quarterbacks, huh, Monty? So you got Josh Allen, really good. Joe Burrow, really good. You have Deshaun Watson, really good. Lamar Jackson, good. Let's see, Patrick Mahomes, good. So we're at 5. Derek Carr, 6. Justin Herbert, 7. Russell Wilson, 8. And that's off the top of my head here. Throw Ryan Tannehill in there if you want, and there you go. You go through all those guys, and you say to yourself, Monty, that there's all these great quarterbacks. Here's the thing I would sprinkle in, because these are things we don't know. Injuries, disappointment. Like, not everyone's just going to be great. They're like, okay, are all those teams going undefeated? No. Obviously. So things are going to happen. Injuries are going to happen. Teams are going to play above their heads. Teams are going to play below their heads. It happens every year. So to have this loser mentality, like, oh, man, we can't do anything. Might as well grab our ball and head on home since we can't do anything. The rest of the AFC is too good. Like, what, are we going to pack up our – like, all those quarterbacks are here for the significant future. Russell Wilson, here. Deshaun Watson, here. And all Lamar Jackson, all these other guys, they're all here for a while. So what, do we just stop playing football? There's 31 teams in the NFL for the next 5 years? Come on, man. You just got to sack up, and you just got to go out and do it. You just got to grab it by the jugular and let's go. You can't just whine and go, there are too many other good teams. Guess I'm not going to be up this year. What? No, worry about yourself, and then whatever happens on the outside happens. The Jets control their own crap. It doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Is it highly competitive? Yes. Does the NFC suck? Yes. But you know what? The Jets are in the AFC. And last time I checked, they can't just jump to the other one. And the other thing I would throw out there, by the way, old Monty, is that four of those quarterbacks I mentioned, which are phenomenal, Patrick Mahomes, Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, and Russell Wilson, guess what, pal? They all got to play each other. All four teams aren't making the playoffs. That is impossible. Literally impossible. That can't happen. So it's not like all four are going to make it. So they're going to beat up each other. So that's going to give some rub. So they're all going to give each other losses. Like there is an opportunity. And the same thing for a bunch of these divisions. So I just don't get that mentality. I think it is a loser mentality to have, quite frankly, Monty. We just don't know. I can't control those other teams. They're all good. And that point of what you say is right. Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, all these guys are good. They're super talented, but we don't know. Like Deshaun Watson, is he going to get suspended for half the year? I got freaking no clue. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a doctor. I have no idea what's going to happen there. All of a sudden, boom. If the Browns have Jacoby Brissett for half the year, how many games are they winning? I don't freaking know. So there's a lot of unknown is my point with the here in early May. But anywho, let's get through some final questions, comments here. Your prediction on Breece Hall this season, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Again, I spoke about it. The Breece Hall interview, by the way, drops tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. on the channel, so feel free to check it out. And let's see, who are the guys? I had the Breece Hall thing here. Oh, other side. Okay, I'm an idiot. Okay, so Breece Hall. Desmond Howard predicted Offensive Rookie of the Year, and Keyshawn Johnson predicted Offensive Rookie of the Year for Breece Hall. That'd be the first time in Jets history that an offensive rookie won Rookie of the Year. I think it's certainly possible. It seems hard because you have Michael Carter, so some of his success will be mitigated. But as I give you the sneak peek of the interview for tomorrow, the fact of the matter is, what are the competition? Look at the rest. Normally, if there's some elite quarterback, then you're screwed. But there's no elite quarterback. One quarterback went in the first round. That is Kenny Pickett. And guess what? There's no guarantees to starting quarterback. So I think there is a clear path to Breece Hall. He can run the football, catch the football, and in this Michael LaFleur offense, he's going to have a lot of opportunities. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, let's get some final ones here. We're just going to have to go rapid fire. Let's go back to Monty. I love Monty. Paul, thoughts on the fact that wide receiver D-line are two of the highest bust rate percentage chances in the NFL, and what are the odds that 4 picks in the same draft all pan out on the same team? Well, I would say, the odds and analytics tell you, Monty, that it's not going to work out. But then you can bring up a draft class, 2000 NFL draft. Anthony Beck played in the league for 12 years. Sean Ellis played in the league for like 11 years. John Abraham may go in the Hall of Fame one day. And then the final one, Chad Pennington, for a long time before Drew Brees, was the most accurate quarterback in NFL history. Plus, from that draft, they had Laverne Coles in the third round, which people forget about. So, is it impossible? Absolutely not. I just gave you an example. Now, we will see. Now, the numbers say that, whatever, to your point, the wide receiver and D-line, wide receiver is the highest bust rate of any position in the NFL. That's true. And so is defensive line. And those analytics are true. And the odds of them all panning out are not great. But I'll tell you this, that even if some of them pan out, then phenomenal. Because think about all the positions. Okay, if Ahmad Gardner isn't the superstar corner, Darrelle Revis reincarnated, then okay, you still have a really good quarterback group. So that doesn't destroy the position. Again, I hope he's great, but that's just one example. The pass rushers, if Jermaine Johnson doesn't work out, okay. They got Carl Lawson, Bryce Huff, John Franklin Myers, and all these other dudes on the team. So they just need a couple of them to work out. And if they all work out, obviously it's great. So we're just going to kind of have to find out there. Okay, let me see if I can run through any last ones here. Talking Jets with Tigo, welcome to the show. We're about to wrap up here. Monty, let's go back to you. It's very much on Zach. I'm very tempered in my expectations for next season. Zach was literally the worst starting quarterback by many measures, and most of our playmakers are new to the NFL. Zach had a lot of rough parts, no question about it, Monty, and you can temper your expectations. To me, I think the offseason is about dreaming. I think it's about having fun. I think it's about doing all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to choose to be excited and be crazy, and I think we should all be that way. Now, whether or not, how quickly they're a contender, again, we will have to see. But in the NFL, I don't think you have to wait 20 years anymore. I just think you could get an opportunity to spin it around really quick. We've seen it around the NFL. Let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing a bunch. Yeah, there's too many comments. All right, everybody. Well, I just have to say, Monty, I love you to death, man. That was super cool, and I love opposing viewpoints. So I see. Thanks for taking my questions, 100%. And I wish I could take more. We've been going on here for about an hour and a half. I can hear my baby crying in the other room, so I got to go run and take care of that and my beautiful fiance. But I'll tell you guys, I love doing these live streams. This is amazing, and it's really cool. It's cool. I love opposing viewpoints. So Monty, again, yes men are great to have. Like, wow, Paul, you're awesome. Great for my ego. And quite frankly, my ego doesn't need it. I pat myself on the back enough where I have a limp wrist on the injury report from patting myself on the back so much. So I love having different viewpoints. It's awesome, and it's really cool. And, some people love to dream the magical dream and say, man, they're going to do all these crazy things. And other fans are like, you know what? I'm kind of level-headed. I want to wait to see it. And again, for the Jet fans, I want to see Santa's fat ass come down the chimney before they buy in and believe. After getting burned so many times, you know what? That makes a lot of sense. It makes a whole heck of a lot of sense for that to be the case for any of you and all of you who are out there that are making those kind of pleas and conversations and things of that nature. But I got to say, I love you all. I love you all. A to Z, pillar to post, love, hate, reasonable questions, criticisms, whatever the fact of the matter happens to be. I just got to say that it's amazing. Again, guys, make sure if you haven't already, like the video on YouTube, whether you're watching it live now, whether you're watching it later, and hit subscribe. We're trying to blow this thing on up, baby. We had 1.53K subscribers when we started this thing, starting the stream an hour and a half ago, so I'm hoping we could get it. So tell a friend, baby. Share the news. We have Jets content all day, every day. Great interviews, live streams, you name it, we got it. We're trying to rise on up on the Jets content creator checklist. And guys, if you enjoy the content, like I said, make sure you show your support. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. We will see you tomorrow morning. Again, Breece Hall interview dropping at 7 a.m. right here on the channel under the playlist Meet the Fleet, where you guys get to learn about all the new Jets draft picks. So make sure you go support that. Hit subscribe, hit that bell notification so you never miss a video. All right, everybody. Well, peace out and see you next time. And until then, the Jet Zone right here on Sports War Radio, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Until next week, we'll see you here on the Jet Zone. Thanks, everybody.